What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 14 of our Liverpool FC playthrough here in Football Manager 2016. This was meant to be the end of season review, but I made a mistake. I actually forgot to save the game at the end of the season to record the thing, because usually what happens is with the end of season reviews is I'll play on a little bit and go back and do them. I'm letting you in to the secret behind being a YouTuber, and as a result, I don't have a save to load back and tell you guys about what happened, so I have to apologise for that. I will try and make kind of mentions, I guess, to last season as we go through this episode. So, it's the start of our second season here at Liverpool, and I made a lot more business and did a lot more transfers than I anticipated. It's always the exciting bit, I guess, the transfers. You guys might remember looking at our finances screen that we had. How much was it? I think it was £40 million to spend and £400,000 on the wages. We've spent a lot of money. We still have 15 million left, but we raised a lot of funds that I didn't really anticipate us to raise. So, with that said, let's move into these transfers and talk about them. And as you can see here, we've actually sold more players than what we paid, which is kind of unusual by my standards. I guess you might be noticing the big one. If we sort here by fee, I sold Emre Can. And I didn't think I was going to sell this guy. In fact, I kind of had told myself I wasn't going to sell him because the young German is just such a fantastically talented player. There aren't many players as good as him in Football Manager. However, and it's a big however, Manchester City bid £74 million. I couldn't say no. I took the money and ran. It's a record fee. We sold him for more than Liverpool sold Suarez for. He was good for us last year, played every league game, but was not standout by any means. And to raise £74 million was just something I couldn't refuse. Other big players on the outs, we sold Markovic, who of course was out on loan last year for £20 million to Schalke. We also sold James Milner on a free here, who was taking up our wages. Other big outs, Origi went to PSG for £20 million. Really good player, this guy, but £20 million is a lot of money for a player who really probably isn't going to play for us that much. 21 years old, I've got better young prospective strikers like Embolo, and to get £20 million, I was pretty happy. Other players on the outs, Mario Balotelli going for £18 million to Southampton, was very happy with that deal because he only had a year left of his contract. Lucas also sold, and also the duo of Skirtle and Lovren sold. So you might be noticing here, Jack, you've sold two of your centre-backs. The only centre-back who you'd really consider a first choice player who wasn't sold was Sacco. So let's look at the ins, because that is going to start to explain perhaps where the money went, and we will start with the big transfer of the window, which was Lacazette. I spent big on Alexander Lacazette, but last season 22 goals in Ligue 1. We paid £43 million for him. Given the Emre Can deal, this seems to me like a bit of a steal. He's just a really good complete forward striker. I'm still in search of that star striker. I talked a bit about it last season, how I didn't have that striker who I knew was going to get 20 goals a season. I'm hoping this guy is going to be the man to do that for us. And when I say 20 goals a season, I mean 20 in the league. Lacazette, fantastic player, only 25, tied down for his better years, a leading Premier League player. And in my opinion, £43 million pretty well spent. Anyway, the next player we brought in was Kurt Zouma. Paid big money for Kurt. As you can see, he had a very rough season at Chelsea, who missed out on the Champions League. As a result, I was able to get Kurt fairly cheap. £26.5 million paid for the young Frenchman. He's only 21. He's not an incredible centre-back by any means. He was kept out of the Chelsea side, of course, by the likes of Cahill and John Terry, but he's an athlete. And I think this guy partnered with Sacco in our defence is just going to be an absolute kind of rock. You look at these two guys, Zouma a bit more of an athlete, but Sacco more mentally switched on, perhaps a little bit more composed on the ball. I really feel like these two French centre-backs are going to work in unison with each other really, really nicely. And with one being left-footed in Sacco and one being right-footed, for me, they make pretty much the ideal centre-back partnership, and a partnership that really could last the next 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. So I'm really happy to get Zouma done, and for a pretty cheap price, all things considering. Anyway, the next player in, and I'm going to butcher this name, but I'm going to go with Bazoa, who is an Ajax youngster. I spent big money again on this guy, £26 million paid. I see this guy as the long-term replacement for Emre Can. This guy Bazoa, only 19. Very young, actually got a birthday coming up fairly soon, but you can see here loads of potential about this guy. Just a fantastically well-rounded centre mid. We have an abundance of strong young centre mids. This guy adds to that, and given our reliance on them with our current kind of, I guess, formation, I don't think we can have too many of them. A few of our younger players have gone out on loan. I might talk about them in a future episode. But yeah, very happy to get him done. £26 million, a big fee paid, but I'm hoping it's going to come good for us. Anyway, the next player here, Nikola Vlasic. We'll go with that. That sounded right, didn't it? Vlasic. This guy, I believe he starts at Hajduk. He does. He's a really talented young player. As you can see, last season for them, got 11 assists and 4 goals. He had his contract running out at the end of the season, only 18 years old. I picked him up for £10 million. I've actually immediately loaned him out, or at least he's in the process of being loaned out to Marseille, where he's going to be a regular first-team player for them. And I hope he's really going to settle in, do well, and hopefully develop with a lot of first-team football, because this guy has a ton of talent, great personality in terms of the fact he's very determined, really solid mentals, really, and amazing physicals. And yeah, can't wait to see how well he could develop. A few more ins. I'm going to go through these quite quickly. We got in Antonio Rudiger, we'll go with that. German centre-back, young player, 23 years old, just a backup centre-back. Needed a little bit of strength in that department after seeing Lovren and Skirtle go. But this guy's not too bad, and I think he's going to be a good player for us this year. Next player who we paid some pretty big money for, really, Andrew Robertson, another player who I don't want to say I overpaid for, but I probably paid more than I'd like. But this guy joins us for £9 million. He's a pretty good, talented, young left wing back. And I just needed a backup because behind Moreno, our next choice was Joe Gomez, who really isn't comfortable at the left back position. So I wanted a more natural replacement. We have this guy, the Scottish international. And again, just another transfer that I think was necessary. And given the outlay that we gave and attained, I guess, from Emre Can and the funds that we received, I wasn't too worried about paying a little bit over the odds for a few of these players. Next player here, probably the bargain of the window, to be honest. Axel Witsel, the Belgium international, 27 years old. We signed him on a free transfer. In fact, no, it wasn't a free. I've lied. It was £6 million. I contemplated waiting for his contract to run out at Zenit to then approach him on a free transfer, but with 1 year left on his deal, managed to snap him up for £6 million, which fantastic deal. This guy's 27. He's not the youngest player by any means, and his wages are quite hefty, but £6 million for this kind of centre mid, you just can't complain. He's a fantastically well-rounded player. I love the fact he's got some ability in the air as well. So that was a really nice one. And then the last kind of big transfer that wasn't a regen coming in was Szczesny, who we picked up on a free transfer. Now, whether or not this guy's going to feature ahead of Mignolet, honestly, I think I've not made up my mind yet. In fact, I know I've not made up my mind yet. So Szczesny might be the player who plays in goal. I might stick with Mignolet. But the bottom line is he comes in on a free. At worst comes to worst, we've got a kind of okay backup goalkeeper for one season who might want to move on if he doesn't play regular first team football. At best, we might have a very, very strong goalkeeper here who's only 26, I believe. So he has a few years left in him and he's a very good goalkeeper. So that's what's happened in terms of the transfers. I guess the Emre Can deal being the big one that's kind of mixed things up. Looking at our team here, this is what I consider to perhaps be our strongest 11. I'm not 100% sold on it, to be honest. And I think a lot about my team selection is going to come down to, I guess, analysing our team, looking at form, looking at who's playing well. Unfortunately for us, Barbosa and Maya are both on international duty with Brazil. I'm not sure. I guess it's a Olympic year, so it's probably the under 23 Brazilian Olympic squad that they're kind of serving with. Today's game is against Sheffield Wednesday in the league. An easier game to start the season, although they did finish top of their league, so we can't underestimate them too much. And they also have Barini, our former player, who they paid £13 million for, so clearly they're expecting a lot from him. Hopefully he won't come back to bite us. So I'm just going to quickly address the issue we've got in terms of the two Brazilians on international duty. We have a very strong team though. As I mentioned, a few players going out on loan. Tielemans is out on loan at Augsburg. Regular first team football's on the agenda for him. If he doesn't get it, we can just recall him from his loan, or if he just doesn't develop as we want him to. Similar with Cataldi, we paid £20 million for this guy. He's a really good player and he's still got plenty of time to develop, but I'm hoping Villarreal in Liga BBVA is going to be a chance for him to really excel as a first team regular there. Of course, we still have a few of the Argentine prospects on loan at the moment, such as Mamanama, who again we can recall if we want to, but the young Argentine playing a lot of first team football in Argentina, not putting in the best performances but still improving. And that's a similar story for Andre Cubas, who unfortunately is out with a bruised rib at the moment, but looking at his attributes, definitely improved. His mentals are really solid for a player who's only 20 years old, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he's at kind of come Christmas time at the end of the Argentine season. So, that's what's been going on there. All in all, pretty happy with the business we've done. I feel like we've definitely strengthened the team this year we've really strengthened the team. Last year, kind of at the end of the transfer window, I kind of looked at what we'd done and I kind of realised maybe we've not improved the team in all the areas that I wanted to. Maybe we didn't sign enough first team players. This window, obviously, we've signed the likes of Zuma, Witsel and Lacazette, 3 very key players who I'm certain are going to be first team regulars. But then around them, we've continued to build a younger squad with players like Bazoa, Rudiger again, just a young backup. And I'm pretty optimistic in the direction we're going. So anyway, let's continue and submit this team for this game against Sheffield Wednesday. It is a Sunday kickoff, so the league has already started. Looking at the other teams promoted, Derby County and Brentford joining the top flight for this season. Mike Dean going to be refereeing this game. I'm not a Mike Dean fan, so hopefully he doesn't screw us over here. But we'll see how we get on. First game of the season, a chance for us to really, see where we're at. Obviously, I expect us to beat a newly promoted team and beat them fairly comfortably. But this is still going to be an interesting, game just to see how players like Lacazette get on. I am sticking with Mignolet in goal at the moment, but who knows, maybe Szczesny will be the player who I play in the Champions League. I feel like with those 2 goalkeepers, we really have a choice over, which one we want to start. You know, they're both very strong, and it's nice to have that option. So anyway, let's see how we get on here. We are away against Sheffield Wednesday, so they might have a bit of a point to prove. You know, first time in the top flight in a number of years. Want to give their fans a result to remember at home against Liverpool. We're going to have to be wary of that as they have got the ball here at the edge of the box. We need to defend this well. Barini lays off Lee Catamol, and that is going to be Matthias? He scores. Was it offside? It was offside. I had a feeling it was Marco Matthias. Just a little bit too eager to get up top, but that is a warning to us. That is a very big warning, I guess, that we need to switch on here and get into this game. Looking at it, 11 minutes in, Sheffield Wednesday having a lot of the ball. That is not what I want to see from us here. I'm almost tempted to switch to the wide system immediately. As you guys know, we kind of adopted a wide system towards the end of last year. With kind of the players that we had, we kind of discovered, I guess, that it was possible for us to play a bit more of a wide system if that's what we wanted to do. And actually, that's something that I did consider when I signed Lacazette, was the fact that, yes, he would be able to kind of, fulfill that wide man role of cutting inside onto his right foot. I think he's right-footed. I now want to check in case I'm wrong. He is right-footed. I knew that. So we have that option, and that's what we're going to try here, because I noticed last season, and it was kind of a trend that, reared its head again and again, and I didn't react enough to it when it was occurring last season. But against teams that play like a 4-2-3-1, if we struggle to get hold of the ball and they're playing with their wide men and really getting them into the game, we tend to concede and we tend to struggle because we don't have the cover for our wing-backs in terms of wide midfielders, and it's the job of the wider centre-mids on either side to drop back. With this wider formation, we sacrifice one of our strikers and obviously the central attacking mid in favour of a little bit of extra support out wide and kind of change the, a method of our attack. Looking at it, it's kind of worked wonders for us here. We've gone from struggling to have the ball to having a few more shots, getting a little bit more of the ball, which is pleasing to see. This game, I want to see us win, obviously. I want to see us win comfortably, and I'd love to see at least one of our new signings grab a goal. Coutinho's struggling with condition. I can only assume he's taken a little bit of a knock there, and hopefully that will start to pick up. It will. Witsel getting a yellow card. Going to have to keep an eye on that, obviously. New signing. Don't really want him getting sent off on his debut. I feel like in saying that, maybe, just maybe, I'm cursing it. But at half-time, looks like it's going to be 0-0, which is a wee bit disappointing. Sheffield Wednesday started the game really well, obviously had that goal disallowed, and we've not done a lot in this first half. I am at the moment in my team training us in team cohesion. Obviously, with a few new players coming into the first team, we've got to kind of gel with the players around them, and in Witsel, Zuma And Lacazette, we have 3 players who I think they're going to need a little bit of time to kind of familiarise themselves with how we play, familiarise themselves with the players. Obviously, Lacazette doesn't speak English, so that's something that we've got to consider. And the same with Witsel. As we have a chance here. Witsel! Please don't be offside. Please score. He's offside. He's offside. I knew it as well as it went in. Axel Witsel. I don't know why I've called you Alex there, Witsel. I apologise. With the header, but it's given offside. And I kind of knew. I didn't want to get carried away. Looking at it here, 60 minutes in. Pretty disappointing game. There's actually our highlight here, so we will watch this. Please don't get sent off, anyone. And don't concede either. Can we break now? Sturridge ploughing on ahead. There's a lot of men back here. He's going to have to pull off some kind of miracle run here. And he can't do it. He gives away the ball. Although maybe we have a chance now to recollect ourselves, get some more men into the final third and support Sturridge. As Robertson whips in the ball, it drops to Lacazette. And what's he done there? Has he headed it over the keeper? I think he's just lobbed the keeper on his debut. I'm not even mad. 1-0, I would take it at this point. I said I wanted one of our new signings to score. The player I wanted to score has scored. Lacazette from that left-hand side, which is a position we might look to deploy him in. Robertson, another new signing, doing well there. And it came to Lacazette, and he just leaps like a gazelle. And he just heads it over the keeper, who's caught in a bit of a no-man's land position there. Should not be lobbed in that situation. I'm not going to complain, though. That is very nice to see. Sturridge not having the best of games, so we'll bring on Danny Ings. Witsel obviously already booked. Let's bring on Bazua for a debut. The young Dutch player. I think he's Dutch. And I want to check. Are you Dutch? I know you're Dutch. Why am I even questioning it? He is Dutch. Right, I'm never saying the word Dutch again, because I've just said it far too many times. But he's coming on. Hopefully he can do a job for us. Obviously, he's another one of the younger players that, I don't know, I want to see him have an impact this year, especially with £26 million spent. But if he doesn't, but he still develops, that would be good enough for me. But we need to defend here. Sheffield Wednesday on the attack, building up some nice play. Like Sheffield Wednesday, they've not tried to hit us on the break, really. They've been trying to keep hold of the ball and trying to build it up themselves. We need to defend here. Barini, our former man, threading in Marco Matthias, who scores. That wasn't in the script. That's not what I wanted to see, funnily enough. Let's change things up here. We are going to go to a slightly different shape, slightly different formation. We're going to go to a 4-2-3-1. I'm going to bring Firmino further up into the action. And we're also going to bring on a new player that I didn't talk about, I don't think, in Cartabia. We'll go with that. The young Argentine winger. I forgot to mention this guy. We signed him for £10 million. I want to say £9 million from Deportivo. Not from Deportivo, sorry, from Valencia. I'm hoping he can have an impact for us because he's a very good player. And this is a chance for him to prove himself. I can't believe I missed him out when I was introducing the new transfers. I feel terrible now. He's kind of a player I brought in just because I had a little bit of money to spare, and for £10 million he seemed like a really good kind of backup attacking midfielder to have. There was a few times last season where Coutinho and Firmino were both out injured, and we could have done with a player like him to come into the side. And the fact he can play out wide just offers us a bit of flexibility in terms of team shape. Lacazette has just scored again. Please don't be offside. Please don't be offside. He's celebrating. I can only assume it's been given. It has been given. Was that Nathaniel Klein with an incredible cross? And Lacazette, the new man, with his second header of the game. He's not even a player who's good in the air, but he's working wonders for us. And, well, that goal came before the tactical change happened. We'll stick with this system that we've gone with, even though it's quite attacking. 5 minutes left of this game. 2-1. Not an ideal result if it stays like this, of course. Even if we were to get another one, I guess the circumstances wouldn't be too pleasing. And to be honest, there's still time here for Sheffield Wednesday to hit us on the break, so we can't even kind of get satisfied with what we've got now. But it would be an okay result as we have a chance that it's dispossessed. The ball is ricocheting around. Henderson dispossesses. Bazoa, Cartabia, Firmino tackled. Please don't get hit on the break here. Barini bringing the ball forward for Sheffield Wednesday. They have options. They have lots of options. Barini, don't do this to me, game. Do not let Fabio Barini score against me. I will be so annoyed. No. Oh my gosh, it's happened. Oh gosh. You knew it was going to happen. It was in the script. I should have gone more defensive. Oh, I want to say we've been FM'd because Wednesday haven't had many chances, but really neither have we. Oh dear. This is not what I wanted for the first game of the season. Let me clarify that right now. There's still time though. Ings, get on that. Oh, Westwood. Quick off his line. I thought there was a chance there. That's going to be full time, I imagine, there. Oh, it's not what I wanted from the first game of the season. And I knew it was going to happen. I knew it. As soon as that last attack happened, you could just see it was in the script. I'm not happy with the players, but at least Lacazette got off the mark for us with 2 goals. Obviously, with £43 million paid for him, it's good for him to get an early goal. 2 poor mistakes. And Carter Beer apparently was the player who made the mistake. The new man coming on off the bench. I'm just sat shaking my head. Well, guys, let me know what you thought of my transfer dealings this year. I feel like to get the money we did for Emre Can was absolutely insane. If you look at kind of our squad balance, we have a fairly big squad, it's fair to say. But at the same time, I feel like we have strength everywhere, which is pretty pleasing to be able to, I guess, look at our side and believe that we have the strength if a few injuries come up. Players are more than capable of stepping up to the plate and kind of making up the numbers. So, that's going to wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching. Let me know which of my signings that I made you think has been the best bit of business. Give me your prediction for who the big player from this window is going to be. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you've got any other comments with regards to this save, of course, leave them down below. Again, apologies for the fact there wasn't an end of season review. Hopefully you enjoyed this regardless. If you did, smash the like button. Of course, if you're watching this video for the first time, I don't know why you'd be watching episode 14 first, but if you are and you've got to this point, obviously subscribe, check out the playlist for this series down in the description. And other than that, guys, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.